Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, hi, I'm Brown Panda Beauty, and in today's video I am going to show you how I usually do my heavy duty sort of foundation routine. So this foundation routine is really good for nighttime. I also do this during the daytime depending where I'm going and what is the occasion and all that stuff, but this is what is my go-to sort of foundation routine for a much more fuller coverage and more heavy duty, long lasting. So yeah, if you like the sound of it, if you want to know how I do my little routine, what I use, how I use it, all that good stuff, then keep on watching and I'll break down all the products I've used, how I've used it. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get started. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to go in is with my Farsali. These are Unicorn Essence drops, so these are really nice for hydrating your skin. So I'm just gonna put some on. Before I do start my makeup, there are a few tips that I usually do to make sure that my foundation goes really nicely on my skin. One is that I make sure that I wash my face with a good cleanser, so all the oils and dirt and grime is off my skin and it's nice and clean to put my foundation on. And another thing what I do is I scrub my skin before I put my foundation on. I usually scrub my skin once or twice a week, but if I'm putting quite a heavy bit of makeup when I'm going out, I tend to scrub my skin then as well. I don't do it harshly, I just do it very gently so that my skin is more evened out, there's no texture. If I've got dry skin, I'll, scrub that off and stuff. So yeah, that's what I tend to do. So a good moisturizer is another thing that I do before I put my foundation on. If I'm not wearing a moisturizer, because sometimes if your moisturizer is really oily or heavy, it can make your skin look very oily as well, and when you put your foundation on, it can make it look oily or shiny. So I sometimes tend to not put moisturizer on, but I do go in with something like Beauty Flesh Balm by Clarins that works as a moisturizer as well as a primer. So that's a really good substitute for moisturizer, so you're still getting that hydration but not that shine or oiliness. After hydrating my skin, if you're going out for a longer period and you want your foundation to last you longer, or like right now it's quite hot in New Zealand, so my makeup tends to move or melt, I'll make sure that I put a primer underneath. A good primer is my Marc Jacobs Coconut primer. This one's a really good one, and the other one that I use is my Henrickson one that I really love as well. Or you can have a spray primer which you can spray before and after your makeup, which will help stick your foundation onto your skin nicely. So you've got quite a few options that you can do. Another great primer that I love using is my Bobbi Brown Vitamin E, which is again a really good moisturizer, also a primer just like Clarins Beauty Flesh Balm. So that's another great option if you don't wear your moisturizer before your makeup. I'm just putting Marc Jacobs everywhere where I think my skin needs a good base, and so my foundation doesn't move, especially on my T-zone. I'm gonna go in with my Strobe Cream by MAC. This one is in Pink Light. This will give me a good glowy finish from within my foundation instead of on top of it like you would highlight. So I'm just putting it where I want the glow, which is all over my face. Next up would be color correcting your skin. If you've got redness, you can use a green color corrector. If you've got dark pigmentation like I do, you can use a peach color corrector or an orange color corrector. I'm going to use, for my color corrector, I don't have really bad coloration at the moment, but if I can avoid it, I would avoid it. So like right now, I don't have to have it because I can get away with just a foundation and will cover everything. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to go and color correct my face, and I'm going to use LA Girl Pro Concealer in color Orange corrector, so orange corrector. And I'm going to go underneath my eye, and I'm using very little. You don't want to layer too many products onto your face. I used to go very heavy with my color corrector thinking that it's going to cover better, but that's not the case. As long as you've got that color, it will just automatically cancel out the darkness or redness underneath. You don't need too much. I'm just gonna take my ring finger and spread that product very gently. I'm not gonna go harsh on my skin. So as you can see, I've really blended in my orange corrector. You can barely see it, but it's there to hide my pigmentation. Same thing underneath my eye. I'm just pressing the product instead of dragging it because that'll make sure that you don't really pull your skin and harm it. Another step you can add, you don't have to, but sometimes I do depending how glowy and dewy I want my skin. I go in with another highlighting sort of primer. This is by Henrickson. I'm loving this one at the moment because it kind of has a yellow tint to it and has a little bit of shimmer in it. It helps your skin look more glowy. This is beautiful step if you are going out at night because nighttime you can go a bit crazy with your highlight. So I just add this on the high points of my face, where you will highlight. This and Strobe Cream will be a really good combination just to give you glowy, beautiful skin with a nice highlight. And I tend to do it over here, in my nose, and on my chin. And this is because it has a yellow tint to it, so it'll also make my skin look more vibrant if it looks dull. And also yellow will kind of help with discoloration as well. After prepping your skin with all the base products before you go in with your foundation is going to go on much more nicely and smoothly because we've got all the glowy stuff, all the hydrating stuff, all the color correcting stuff. It's gonna help your foundation look more nicer, if that makes sense, instead of your foundation covering up your skin and trying to hide imperfections. We've already taken care of the imperfections and now you can go in with your foundation. For my foundation, I'm going to use my Estee Lauder Double Wear in color Spiced Sand. I do like Estee Lauder for sort of sturdier makeup look because if I want more heavy duty, fuller coverage and I want my foundation to last me longer, I will use something like Estee Lauder or Bobbi Brown or MAC because I know they will tend to last longer if you are going out for more than 6 to 8 hours. So yeah, I'm gonna go in with Estee Lauder. Take a foundation flat brush and just go in straight and just put stripes in where I want fuller coverage. Stripes where I've put them is I want the fullest coverage, and I tend to put very less around my mouth and very less around my forehead, more concentrating on there because I've got fine lines here a little bit. I don't like my foundation going in too much into my lines, so I tend to just brush off that area with remaining foundation instead of going heavily over there. And the best way to make your foundation last is doing 2 steps. First, I'm going to take a kabuki brush. It's a bit dirty because I used it this morning, but it's still clean. I'm going to take this kabuki brush and spread the product and buff out the foundation, and then I'm going to go in with my beauty blender just to even out everything. So I will take my kabuki brush first and then buff out foundation. And I'm not going underneath my eyes because I want to keep less layers possible underneath my eyes, because otherwise, because your eye skin is very soft and sensitive, the more products you put on, the more cakey it's going to look. It'll make you look more aged than you are. But buffing your foundation, make sure that you take your time to do a good job, because if you don't buff it nicely, you might have streaks on your face, you might have lines on your face. So buffing is very important if you want a good finish to your base. After buffing my foundation in, I'm just going to take my wet beauty sponge and just press my foundation into my skin. This will give me a nice dewy finish because of the water in the sponge. Plus also, if you've got any lines and streaks or anything like that, it'll help melt that into your skin that your brush didn't do. You can see the glow coming back, and you make sure that you cover your jaw area, because a lot of people, they stop right here and it just looks weird because this whole thing is different colors. So make sure at least you bring it down here, if not here, if your skin is different to your foundation color, especially if you're tanned or something. Alright, now I'm gonna go in with my concealer. I'm going to use a Bobbi Brown concealer here, and this is in medium. So this one is really nice because it has yellow undertone, which will help highlight my under eyes as well as cover them nicely. So just doing this underneath, and I'm going to bring it down to my cheekbones because I want the highlight to go all the way down there. And I'm not putting it too close to my eyes I'm putting it underneath my eyes but not very close to my lower lashes. I'm going into my inner corner of my eyes because they tend to look quite dark. I'm just going to go on top of my eyelid as well. This will help correct any discoloration on my eyelid. I'm not bringing the concealer all the way up to my brow bone because I'm going to go in with another concealer to cover that. Now again, you've got two options. You can go in with your beauty blender and spread that product, or you can go in with your kabuki brush again and spread it, and then go in with your beauty blender and just set it, or you can just do one or the other. I'm going to go in with my kabuki brush because I like the finish it gives me. Now I'm doing is I'm bringing the product to the lower lashes. So there's still coverage, so there's a thin layer of product but not cakey. And now with my second concealer, which is my Tarte Shape Tape, this is in medium sand. I'm going to take a little bit on the back of my hand, just that much will do. It's very heavy duty, and I'm going to take that foundation flat brush and take the product and just carve my brows, especially if you haven't done your brows, which I haven't. You will have little hair and stuff growing. So what you can do with this one is just cover it and make it look neat and tidy. And because this concealer is so heavy duty, it's gonna cover it quite nicely. So all I'm doing is putting very little and just bringing the product down onto my eyelid. This will give your brows a really nice lift as well as highlight. And like I said, it'll cover any hair or untidy brows. And all I'm doing is bringing it all the way to my eyelid, very gently, very precisely. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. A lot of people go really crazy when they do this process. I tend to do it with least product. Now I'm going to go in with my Laura Mercier powder here. This is the translucent powder, universal color. And I'm just going to take a powder brush and set the top of my eyes and my under eyes. Tip I would give you guys is if you want a full matte finish, you can go ahead and put your translucent powder all over your face to set your foundation and also to give yourself a matte finish. I want more matte set-in sort of finish, so kind of like a in-between. So I'm not going to set my whole face with my translucent powder, but if you want to do that, you can go ahead and do that. For my brows, I'm going to go in with my Chi Chi brow pomade in dark brown. Darker because the foundation is quite heavy, so you want to balance out your brows and your foundation, because if you've got very light brows it might look very uneven, if that makes sense. And yeah, it's not going to complement your foundation's not going to complement your brows. You want to balance it out nicely. So even with the blush and contour and your bronzer, you want to make sure that everything balances out nicely, instead of just your foundation's quite heavy but everything else is light, or everything else is heavy and your foundation's light. So you gotta work how much you need to put what and balance it from there. So give me 2 seconds, I'll be right back and finish up my face. So I'll be 2 minutes. Alright, so I quickly did my eyes and finished off my face. For my eyes I kept it really simple. I only used 2 colors for eyeshadows, which was a dark brown and a light brown. And then I got my eyeliner, which is my Lakme one, which is what I use all the time. And for my lips, I used 3 things. One was Becca's lip liner in color Weekend. And then I used Bobbi brown lipstick, which was Carnation number 12. And then on top of it, I went with 1995 by Pat McGrath, the little mini ones. So yeah, this was basically what I did, and then I used my blush and bronzer. The last thing after I do my whole face, after eyes and stuff, you probably have seen me do this all the time, but this is basically what I do. I use my MAC Fix Plus. This is a new one, mini one I got for traveling. I did have a full one, but then I got the Go Light, so I've got a new mini version of the plain one. You can spray this, or you can use the one with the shimmer. I love using this one. This is Beautiful Fix Plus Go Light, but you can use the plain one as well. For today I'm going to use the plain one because I don't want too many of stuff going on. After putting your Fix Plus, you can either press it with your beauty blender or your beauty sponge, or you can let it dry. I tend to press it while I let it dry because I don't want any sort of patchiness or any sort of drops drying like looks like drops on my face. That's what I do. But yeah, that's basically it. All the steps for my foundation routine. By doing these steps, my foundation doesn't budge for at least 6 to 8 hours, if not longer. There are a few tips and tricks that you can do to make your foundation last for longer. One is to have really good foundation, which will actually stick on your skin for a longer period. Have a good primer underneath. That's another thing that you can do. Have like a spray like this, or a blotting paper, or a compact powder that you can use to just do touch-ups. Your foundation will not move, and my foundation will not move, and it doesn't look over the top. It's not too heavy, it's not super cakey looking. As long as your base of your skin is nice, your foundation will go on really nice. So that's like some tips that you should keep in mind. And yeah, if you follow these basic steps and have the right products for yourself, your foundation will last very, very long. And obviously the products I've used today, you don't have to have the same products. It's just a suggestion and the products that I have and I love using on myself. But if you have your own products and the products that you love, you can use it doing the same steps. But yeah, I had a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this video too. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you have anything to say, or just say hello. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because I will be posting more videos similar to this or something different, so you don't miss out. Share this video with someone who would also enjoy this video, maybe learn something from it, maybe learn some tips and tricks, maybe find it helpful, all that good stuff. So yeah, until next time, hope you guys have a beautiful day. Be happy, be positive. I'll see you guys later. Bye.